played against the Nordiques. There's Paul Stewart, new hairstyle. He'll referee tonight. Dan McCourt and Gord Rossiter. The linesman assigned by the National Hockey League. The Islanders starting a forward line of LaFontaine with Volek and Flatley. LaFontaine broke in across the line before Nyland's pass arrived, so it's offside.
You see Pat LaFontaine, the minute he won the face-off, he was off and running. He was looking for a breakaway pass. They set that up at the beginning of a hockey game. Every now and then it works. Not often, maybe a couple of times a season, but it's worth the try when you have possession of the puck. Interesting, this first offside the Islanders have also. Nyland, if he'd have made a backhand pass, so many players today, they do not pass the puck on the backhand. They turn and forehand the pass. That created the offside that you saw Pat LaFontaine as he streaked across the blue line, wanted the puck right away, and one time Nyland turned and passed it on the forehand, he was offside.
Nyland with a little equipment problem. One of the braces apparently has snapped, so he has gone to the Islander bench along with Gerald Diddick. They're replaced by Norton and Gronstrand as the defense combination. Stastny trying to move the puck up along the boards, turned it over. Volek with a backhander that hit Flatley. Rebounded to Joe Sakic. Got it off the skates of Volek. There's Flatley playing it across to the left side for Norton. Norton tripped up by Petit. Volek steps in front of Stastny. Can't center it, however. Decision right on Volek. Gronstrand holds the puck at the line, dumps it in around the boards. David Volek bumping the decision, and Flatley picks up the puck. Put it right in front. LaFontaine couldn't get a stick on it. That's Norton chasing it back for the Islanders. Quebec in the middle of the player change. Norton up the left side to Flatley. He was standing on the Quebec side of the center ice stripe when he accepted that pass, and it's called back in an offside. There he is, Michel Bergeron, 43 years of age.
What a test for his patience, knowing Michel Bergeron and the temper that he possesses, having to live through a tough season so far. Quebec Nordiques, 7 wins, 27 losses, and 6 ties. I think he realizes, much as Al Arbor did at the beginning of the hockey season, the first 2 months of the Islanders season, much like the first 3 plus for the Quebec Nordiques, tested Al Arbor's patience, and he handled it well.
Vitamin P, patience and praise. More patience. Long pass finds its way to Lauer in front to Wood. A backhander hit the outside of the net. Comes out in front again, but broken up. And trying to clear it out is Paul Gillis. Dropping back is Frostman for the Islanders. Played it off the boards. Here's Lafleur bringing it over the line, but Lawton was standing in the Islanders' zone, so now Quebec is offside.
Nice opportunity for the Islanders. They break through on a 2-on-1. Not get a shot on goal. Here's the play developing in the center ice area. Lauer to Wood. Wood goes to the backhand here, but he didn't seem to get enough of the puck. Slid it along the ice, hit the outside of the net. Gillis was able to clear it. Gillis, the last time these two teams played a week ago, he was ejected from the hockey game.
Good acceleration on that play by Randy Wood. Just stepped it up a notch. Now the Nordiques get to a loose puck. There's Lafleur with a shot that went wide. Lawton out of the corner. Being tied up by Crossman. Got knocked down, and the puck went to Lauer. Lauer and Wood as 3 Nordiques get back. Lauer dumps it in. That's Wood chasing it. Miller's back of the net. Guides it around the boards into the skates of Brent Sutter. It's up along the dasher. Sutter able to get it back on his stick leg. Couldn't feed it in front, and out comes Gillis. Put up from behind by Lauer's check. Now Gillis gets away from the check, and a man with him, and then offside is Lawton. Neither team able to establish a flow here in the first 2 minutes of this game.
So they're trying to skate, but it's the offside. Pat LaFontaine for the Islanders at the beginning of the hockey game. Lawton that time for the Quebec Nordiques. Everybody wants to jump on and get the first goal, get their team started out well. That time Lawton stepping across the line. He was claimed from Hartford on waivers December the 1st. Player that drafted, had so much talent, so much potential, never seemed to be able to develop it.
No, it just didn't come around for him in Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, or in Hartford. Nyland back in the net. He and Diddick, the defense combination. LaFontaine double shifting again tonight as he has for several weeks now. Out on this forward line with King and Kerr. King slaps it off the boards. Got it to LaFontaine. Steps over the line. Lost it as Sorella was right there. Here's Herkus. He lost the puck at the blue line. Sorella played it away from LaFontaine up the right side to Deblois. Puts it in the middle. Bumped on the play is Herkus. Diddick tying him up in the corner. Puck ends up behind the net. Fitzpatrick leaves it for Gary Nyland. Tries the right wing to Alan Kerr. He just dumps it outside the line. Herkus put it back in, but right to Kerr. Now to Nyland. Nyland trying to golf it ahead. It was knocked down by Deblois. Comes in off the right side. Look toward Goulet, and the pass broken up by Nyland. Gary Nyland, good job. Playing it away from Goulet now to Kerr. To King. He and Kerr crisscross, and the play broken up at the Quebec blue line. Goulet bumped by Gronstrand. Islanders dumping it back into the Quebec zone. Dillon leaves it for Sorella. Only one shot on goal, not by Quebec. Trying to clear the zone. Now they elect to carry it out to center ice. Ryan Fogarty, long pass to Huff into the middle, and his shot turned aside by Fitzpatrick. Good stop by the Islander goalkeeper, and they clear the zone with a pass to Maloney. Now to McDonough. Down over the line to Makoto, who's trailing. He shoots, well save, and Dillon will hold on to it. Makoto bumps into him, but there's no further play.
That was a good play. He speared the puck on the backside of his stick and forced Fitzpatrick to make a nice right pad save.
Now this forward line of McDonough, Maloney, and Vakota remains intact. Loose in the corner to the right of Millen. Poked at by Lozelle. Couldn't get it out, and now Petit rounds the net. Goes up as McDonough tried to cut him off. Saw Hubie fall. Back able to clear the zone. Norton with it at center ice. Lead pass to Vakota. Vakota got it in off Lozelle. Millen with it at the side of the net. Up now by Petit. We played 4 minutes of the opening period. There is no score. Ronstrand takes a run at his man and missed. Loisel fires one right across the front of the net. It comes back to Petit. Long shot to a screen. Fitzpatrick to save. McKechnie had tipped it, then went looking for the rebound. A good stop by Fitzpatrick, and Vakota challenges McKechnie after the whistle.
A deflection directly in front of the goaltender. Always a tough play to make, but watch the catching glove of Mark Fitzpatrick. There's the original shot, the rebound directly in front. That shot goes around the corner, but watch the goaltender here as the puck comes from the right point position. There it's deflected, and you can see Mark Fitzpatrick, was down, his right hand, or left hand, on the ice. That's where the deflection went to his catching mitt.
Now LaFontaine will take this face-off. Paul Gillis, center for Quebec. Ward Brossiker puts the puck in play, and Bollick moves it to the left wing. That's Lafleur for Quebec. Left it around the boards. Flatley has it for the Islanders. Patrick Flatley up to David Bollick off his stick. Mike Finn poked it ahead. And Baumgartner lays it down into the Quebec zone. Everybody knows it's Keystone, right?
Yeah, they also know who Mike Finn is.
I hope they do.
As we know him.
It's just a pop quiz there.
Find out if he's watching.
Ken Baumgartner put the puck in the Quebec zone. New Year's Eve, he was bomber, but he's paying the price for that. And now to center ice comes Paul Gillis. Dumps it in, and Crossman is back. The other bomber, Tom Barnwell, took great exception. Asked for an apology, and probably somebody will get one. Bollick taken down, and the crowd reacting. The puck comes back to the right point. Diddick with a shot that's blocked. There's Bollick with a drive. Off the blocking glove of Millen. Fontaine from back of the net. Steps out in front and put it right across the goal mouth. Now Diddick with a shot that deflects back toward the point. Island plays it into the corner, but Nerwa is there for Quebec. Nice one off the glass and down into the Islanders' zone. Chasing it is Diddick. We'll get an icing call against Quebec. There is no score. Getting ready for a face-off in the Quebec zone. Joe Sakic.
Yes. 20-year-old. He's got a pretty good cut on his upper lip.
Island testing Millen on the stick side. Wood trying to put it in front for Sutter. The other member of this Islander forward line is Brad Lauer. Stosny comes over the Islander line. Goes up on the right wing board. Centered one that's tipped by Sutter. Not Fitzpatrick's blocking glove. He pops it out of the air, getting it to Sutter. And play is called. They'll face it off again in the Islanders' zone.
Yes, even goaltenders can't raise their stick above their shoulders and bat the puck to one of their teammates. Looking like a volleyball around the net. The puck goes up in the air. There's Fitzpatrick. Hits it with his glove that time. But then, just like a tennis racket. You think he isn't strong, that young fella? He waves that hockey stick around like it was a matchstick.
Sutter and Sakic once more on the face-off. Won by Sutter. Gary Nyland put it back to the net. Picks it up in the opposite corner. Fed it to Lauer, to Sutter. Back to Lauer. Stosny him up. Up there as well. What a hit from Nyland. Shoulder to shoulder with Mike Huff. They continue to yap at one another. Nyland went back with the stick. Quebec controlling the puck. Here's Sakic. Sakic steps into the Islander zone. Shoots one wide on the glove side. Diddick hustles back to the net. Played it to the open corner. Over goes Brent Sutter. 13 and a half minutes to go in the opening period. There is no score. Sutter plays it through center ice. Fogarty back for Quebec. Has given it to Sorella to Brian Fogarty. Fogarty, left ear, picks up the puck again. Steps over center ice. Off the Islander line. Fogarty's shot went off Nyland's skates. This is Diddick. Nyland just now releases Fogarty, and the Islanders dump it through center on into the Quebec zone. Touched up here by Petit, and that'll be an icing call against the New York Islanders. You may notice the picture's a little fuzzy and things just not quite right tonight, but we are in the somewhat capable hands of Mark Goldsmith, who's directing tonight's game.
Now, why would you say the picture's fuzzy?
Well, only because our regular Islander director, the man who handles Mets baseball on Sports Channel, Dan Reagan,
Can you imagine?
contracted chicken pox. And that's, you saw the picture a moment ago. It's probably going to be that way. No, Mark's the director. But Dan, our best wishes. Speedy recovery, fellow. Chicken pox.
Yeah, that's something different.
No, well, have you had them recently?
No, I mean, usually you have them when you're a kid. You don't have them when you're his age. I mean, I know he's still young, but he's just a kid.
Well, Danny, we're thinking of you. Not fondly tonight, however. Goulet with a shot that's blocked. Comes back to the plate. Petit whistles one wide of the net. Rolled up the mesh, and there's Ronstrand. Trying to play it around his former teammate. It's tied up from behind, and LaFontaine goes to the right side with a pass to King. He clears it out to center ice. Off the tee, and that's Precision. Trying to clear the Quebec zone. He does. King brought it over the line again, and it's offside. 12 and a half minutes to go in a scoreless first period. You're watching New York Islanders hockey on Sports Channel.
Seven and a half minutes into the hockey game. A total of 7 shots on goal and no penalties.
Now Jeff Norton with a cross-ice pass recovered by Gronstrand. Played it around the boards. Here's Norton pinching it after it. He got bumped by Marois of the Nordique. And Claude Loisel dumps it through center, and back goes Gronstrand. Yarvey into forecheck for Quebec. Gronstrand plays the left side through King around Marois. Steve Finn will chase it down for Quebec. Alan Kerr into forecheck. Finn left it for Marois. Gary King over to knock it away from him. Marois recovers. Played it through Yarvey, and at center ice, it's Crossman for the Islanders. Now to Baumgartner. Off the boards with a pass to King. Had trouble handling it. Cagney holding it in for Quebec. Backhands one wide to Fitzpatrick. Quebec with 4 shots. The Islanders with 3. Neither team has taken a penalty, and there is no score. Sorella slaps one in around the boards. That hit Paul Stewart. He's screaming at Sorella. The referee is not pleased with Sorella's selection of play. Don Maloney gets through center ice. Maloney across the Quebec line, cuts to the right side, working on Fogarty, pulls up on him, put it in Crossman's skate. He can't get a stick on it. So Sorella to Sakic. So Sakic dumps one ahead on into the Islanders zone. Good play by Crossman as he checked up. Now McDonough for the Islanders. Around the boards to Vakota. Trying to clear the zone. Baumgartner knocks it outside the line, and peeling back with it is Joe Sakic. Sakic's pass went off Fogarty's stick. And Fogarty turns and dumps it in. Patrick leaves it back in the net for Crossman. Up to Maloney, back to Crossman, and he'll have to go back and recover. Pretty close regular record between these two teams. 17, 15, and 2. Islanders with a home ice record of 10, 6, and 1. On the road, they've won 7 times, obviously, in Quebec City. But in the last 17 meetings, Quebec has won 10. The Islanders 7. No score here as we watch the Nordiques move in. Gillis for the pass in front. It's picked up by McDonough. They come out 3-on-3. McDonough to Vakota. Got it wide of Millen. He got a stick on it anyway, and here's Bollig. Puts it back in the net. Greg Millen will leave it for Curtis Lecision. Bollig into forecheck as Lecision has given it to Petit. Michel Petit, long pass behind Lafleur. It's cleared out by Diddick. Brought back in over the line, offside, and we're at the midway point of the opening period.
They've tried a couple of times to get this game into some kind of a flow, but they have not succeeded. Too many offsides, too many players chasing the puck instead of controlling it. Player that can control it, Guy Lafleur. Long pass from Petit behind the net. Something he couldn't generate any offense with. Great attitude of Guy Lafleur. Good for the young players. Joe Sakic, several others. Quebec have quite a stable of young players that they feel very strongly about. Players that are either in junior hockey now, players they've drafted, or they're in the American Hockey League.
One in particular we watched the other day, single-handedly almost, win the gold medal for Canada in the junior tournament. Stéphane Cissette, goalkeeper, who was just brilliant in that tournament, especially against Czechoslovakia. 2-1 win. His team came back from a 3-0 deficit and beat the Soviet Union on New Year's Day.
It was a Chizowski show there.
Yes,
a couple of goals, helping them come from behind.
In fact, there is gold in the stands here at the Nassau Coliseum tonight. David Chizowski returned with the team yesterday. He's going to join Stan Fischler in our second intermission and show you his gold medal from the World Junior Championship.
He's that great. Well, some of the other players they've got is Matt Sundin. They drafted him first overall last year. Daniel Gorey, he played. He was cut, wasn't he? He didn't get to play. He was cut from the Canadian team.
A lot of controversy about several of the players who had been with National Hockey League teams, Dory being one of them, Govaderis, Hartford Whalers, another. Bissett and Chizowski were the only guys with NHL experience that stayed on the team. Had a chance to watch a couple of those games. Got to see Lindros, got to see Ricci, the young man that everybody says will be the #1 pick this coming June. There is some talent coming, folks.
Yes, and Quebec can get Ricci. That would have had another big name to their stable. So you have to look at Quebec. As much as they're suffering this season, they have to have the most potential of any team right now in the league.
That big kid, Eric Lindros, is something to watch. Man, backhand shot here by Yarvey, scooped up and held by Fitzpatrick. And a little scuffle back to the net. Claude Loisel and Jeff Norton. And Norton just caught him with a left. And then he goes a couple of rights, and Loisel and his Percy. It's a side of Norton's game that I don't recall having seen before.
No, that's very unusual for Jeff Norton, but he must be very mad. He must be extremely mad at Loisel. I'll tell you, you'd have to think twice to fire punches when a guy's wearing a helmet and a face shield. Jeff Norton gets 5 minutes for fighting. That's his first major this season. Claude Loisel also gets 5 minutes for fighting. While there was not a lot of punches landed, there were great intent in both players trying to land something. The last time these two teams met, Nyland and Kimball had fighting majors, along with Brad Lauer and Tony McKegney, Alan Kerr and Steve Finn. Two battles broke loose in the last meeting between these two teams.
Sakic at center ice for Quebec. Sutter beat him on the draw, and Crossman picks up the puck. Gave it to Brad Lauer. Wood moving down the left side as Lauer dumps it in. It's grabbed by Millen. Popped it off and played it into the corner. Brent Sutter and Stastny shoulder to shoulder. Trying to move it out on the left wing boards. Lauer got to it. Couldn't get it to Sutter in time. T gulps it around the boards. It skipped away from Randy Wood, who recovers in time to put it deeper in the corner for Sutter. Decision on him as Wood steals the puck. Drops it back to Crossman through a screen and wide of Millen. Baumgartner pinches in. Played the puck away from Stastny. Got it to the far corner. That's Wood after it. Takes a hit from Decision. The puck comes off the boards for Huff. He just backhands it out into center ice.
Something I noted the last time that the Islanders played and Paul Stewart was refereeing, he seems to be involved in the play a great deal. He always seems to be in the way of the players when they're in deep at each other's end of the ice.
He played one time for Quebec.
World Hockey?
Yeah. Maybe he's going for the puck. Wood gives it to Sutter. He's a developing pretty good official. Here's Wood with a pass to Lauer. At times, you're right, positioning maybe not as good as it should be. Lauer from the back of the net, lost it. Vin with it. Pumped into Nerwa, and that gave Lauer a free shot just wide of the net. 7.5 minutes to go in the opening period. Quebec clears the zone, and backboard is Gary Nyland. Nyland up to Maloney. It's knocked away from him. Recovered by Nyland. Off the boards, through Maloney. He's Finn with it. Berkeback has given it to Merwan, then right back to Finn. Finn's pass to Paul Gillis at center ice. Dumped it in. That's LaFleur chasing it. Nyland stepped in front of him. Gary Nyland playing it up the boards to Mick Dakota. Now to Don Maloney. McDonough moving up to join the play as Maloney steps across the line. Shoots one. Gloved by Millen. Shot for Sorella. To LaFleur. He's bumped on the play by Dakota. Maloney arrives on the scene, trying to jab it out of LaFleur's skate. Lauer took it to the corner, left it. It comes right back to Nyland at the point. Gary Nyland's shot right on. It's scooped up and held by Millen, and there's no further play. Now a little tussle. Dakota being pushed by Sorella. Pushed into Dakota's face. And the linesman, McCourt and Grosserker get in to separate some people.
Every now and then, he does. He gets feisty. Up for body strength, and he doesn't go in and hit players and fall down as he used to. He gets pretty good leverage on them now, and he doesn't pick the little guys either. But he is a big, strong guy.
Nyland dumping the puck in for the Islanders. Flatley over on right wing, muscles his way around Lecision, gave it to LaFontaine, back to Diddick. Fires one from the point. Millen the stick save, and it rebounded to the left side for Goulet. Now to Deblois. Up the left side. Urkus trying to cut in. It's jabbed away from him. Picks it up again and overshot it. Diddick tied up Urkus, giving LaFontaine a chance to come back. Moves it around the boards. Finn pinching in for it. Put it in the corner. Deblois tied up there with Diddick, and it's Flatley trying to move it around Goulet. Goulet recovers. Went to center one. Urkus was open. The Islanders up with it, and Volek has fed it to LaFontaine. Now to David Volek. Volek dumps one in, and the Islanders go for the player change. Steve Finn working from back of his own goal with a pass to Merwa. Out into the center ice area. Puck got bumped off the puck. Merwa picks it up again. The Islanders trying to complete a change. Volek gets a rest, and out comes Randy Wood. Joining Brent Sutter. And Brad Lauer. Grossman back in his own zone with a pass to Wood. Wood spots Sutter moving up. The pass went off Merwa. Lauer recovers, but it's offside. Just over 5 minutes to play in the opening period.
Brad Lauer, the right winger on this line with Brent Sutter and Randy Wood. Tough for players if they're not good at handling the puck on the backside of their stick, taking all of the passes on the backhand side and having to give them. Otherwise, they have to turn around. As I was talking about Gary Nyland making that play early in the hockey game with Pat LaFontaine outside, they have to telegraph everything. As soon as they turn around to pass it forehand, everybody in the Quebec team knows where it's going.
You talk about passes being telegraphed. I watched a practice this afternoon here at the Nassau Coliseum shortly after 4 that involved people like Wayne Merrick, Bob Nystrom, Ed Westfall, Jean Potvin, Mike Horty,
Ricky Hansen,
yes.
Gary Howard.
Yeah, you talk about passes being telegraphed.
Oh.
What were you guys doing?
Telegraphing. There they are. There's all those misfits. Oh, Brian Torche, is it? He wasn't. He's one of the currents. There they are. They're all watching it. Torrey was in the dressing room. I mean, some of the greatest lines in the world. I mean, Al Arbor came in, Bill Torrey, they were watching.
Was that the first practice for the alumni team?
Yeah.
That was a practice, right?
No, that wasn't a practice. No, you're right. That was not a practice.
Alan Kerr across the line for the Islanders. Trying to get around Fogarty. The young Quebec defenseman tying up Kerr. King played it to the opposite corner. In comes Gronstrand. LaFleur right on him. Gary Gronstrand trying to play it through the other defenseman. Sorella got it to LaFontaine. 35 goals for LaFontaine. Handles the puck with a pass to the right point. Gronstrand shot just went wide of Millen. Grossman in deep. Didn't get it out in front. Gary King gets checked, and it's Guy LaFleur hearing it from the crowd. Guy every time he handles the puck. Gary King brings it back and over the Quebec line. Gets checked, but there's Kerr. Shot one off Millen's stick. It rebounds to the near side. That's King, hounded by LaFleur. He pulls away from Guy LaFleur. The back of the net for LaFontaine. Up to Baumgartner. Can't get to it, and Quebec has a break. Gillis over center ice. Baumgartner back quickly, and a bad pass. A good play by Baumgartner to get back.
Boy, there's nothing scarier than making that kind of a mistake in the offensive zone for a defenseman. It brings out the best skating ability they have. Baumgartner shows you there that he knows how to skate.
Now Decision comes over center ice. Into the Islanders zone, cutting to the left side. Defenseman dropped it back, and there was nobody there for Quebec. McDonough clears the zone. Got checked by McKegney. Got controlled now by Mick Dakota. Dumps it into the Nordique zone. And back goes Tony McKegney. Around the Decision, his pass off Yarvy's stick. Held in by Diddick. Shoots one that's deflected wide by Petit. Maloney and Decision back of the net. That's Maloney trying to move the puck to Dakota. Maloney steps out of the corner with it. Don Maloney with a shot. Blocking glove save by Millen. Maloney chases the rebound. He and Petit bump. Maloney clears it away from McDonough, who was covering the right point. So the Islanders have to go back to play it. A little less than 3 minutes to go in the opening period. Baumgartner spun one into the center ice zone. Randy Wood with it down. His pass outside the line. Picked up by Lauer. Tries to get the play back onside, but then McKegney reaches in and knocks it back into the Islanders zone. No score. Islanders moving it into the center ice area, only to have the pass intercepted by Deblois. Gave it to Goulet, but it's offside. 2 minutes, 33 seconds to play. First period.
38 years old, 38 years young. Still having fun, he says. I'm going to keep playing while I'm enjoying this game. He has put a lot into it.
545 goals in the 5-4-5 game this week, and a loss at Toronto. Passing the great Rocket Richard. You got to look at the all-time goal-scoring list. Ryan Trottier, 494. McDonald, the next one on Trottier's hit list. Randy McDonald, that is. That is 500 against the Islanders last season. A lot of games around the National Hockey League tonight. Posted, get you up to date on the intermission and all the scores.
Yes, everybody in the Patrick division with the exception of the New Jersey Devils is playing.
West, I think Calgary has the night off too, don't they? Chance there, blocked by Fitzpatrick. What a stop. I mean, is he hot or what?
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff Norton owes him at least a six-pack of Coke. Or ginger ale or 7-Up or something.
And the puck comes back to the right point here in the Quebec zone. Diddick dumps it behind the net. And Nerwaz cleared it out. Nyland with it at center ice. Gary Nyland to Randy Wood. Dumps it in.
Well, that's the kind of a save that can give a team a pretty good lift, particularly at the end of a first period, such as this, where things have not happened for either team.
Islanders out shooting Quebec 8-7. King with a pass to LaFontaine, went to the right side to Curry, takes a whack at one off the left pad of Millen. Fogarty moves it around the boards. Here's Nyland centering one in front. Less than a minute to go in the first period, and Quebec is able to clear the zone. Nyland dumps it back in. Islanders get onside again as Sorella went for the puck. Here's Sorella. Plays it up the boards and out to center ice. Nyland plays it right back in again. This is Sorella. Went to the left side for Fogarty. Out into the center ice zone. Fogarty with it again. Steps into the Islanders zone. Gave it to Stastny. Cuts in on goal. And he's beaten by Fitzpatrick. There will be a penalty on Nyland, however. Gary Nyland, with only 30 seconds left in the period, will head for the penalty box.
Stastny tries to put the shoulder down and drive to the net. Nyland, using his strength, knocks him flying. He grabbed a hold of him. I believe it'll be a holding penalty there. Nyland reached out. He knew he was going to get a penalty, but he'd sooner take the penalty at this point in the period than to let Stastny go to the net all by himself. So the first power play of the game coming up. First penalty with 30 seconds remaining in the first period. Peter Stastny. Dangerous player, another dangerous player for the Islanders this year. He has feasted well off the table. The Islanders have set.
5 times he has scored against the New York Islanders in the 2 previous games.
16 goals so far this season. 5 of them at the expense of the Islanders.
He's at center ice. Sakic has gone to the right side, and over on the left is Tony McKegney. The draw comes back to the point. Long shot by Petit. Goes over the glass and on into the seats.
Another vote of confidence for an Islander player. Gary Gronstrand out killing penalties. That's what Al Arbor likes to see. He wants to have big, strong defensemen around the front of the net, particularly when the Islanders are in their own end. Ken Morrow, so good at that for so many years with the Islanders.
Yari on the pregame show tonight, mentioning how quiet he is. You know, that was the first television interview he has done in 4 seasons in North America.
Is that right? I feel like that.
He told me following the interview that was the first. Yeah, for me too.
I remember asking him when we were on the road once if he would talk to us, and he's very pleasant about it. Said he was nervous if I didn't mind, that he'd like to have a little more time.
Well, the final 30 seconds of the opening period tick off here. Here at the Nassau Coliseum and last Saturday night. Quebec 6-3 Nordique.
And the Islanders' penalty killing has moved another notch, moved in the right direction, down to 14.
Yeah, they have done well in that department, although the power play has sputtered in the last 4 or 5 games.
Yes, the last 4 games in particular.
Bad save, and then another one. Left side, then right side. Fitzpatrick getting across in front of that net to make 2 good stops.
2 hard shots. Mike Hoff getting the last one, and Fitzpatrick moved in and got it. There's LaFleur. He started things with that rising hard shot, and here's the rebound as Mike Hoff trying to catch Fitzpatrick before he got back across to the other side of the net.
Somehow or another, Quebec getting 3 shots on goal out of that flurry.
Speaking of 3, Nyland led the Islanders with shots on goal. Gary Nyland in the first period with 3. Mike Hoff had 2 for Quebec.
Petit with a pass to Sakic, has to dump it in around Patrick Flatley. 48 seconds remaining in Nyland's penalty. And the Islanders force the Nordiques back into their own zone. Millen with a long pass to center for Peter Stastny. Up to Goulet, off his stick, but he was standing inside the Islander blue line when the puck arrived, so it's offside.
It was interesting when Stan Fischler talking between the periods to Peter Stastny, he talked about the patience. Keep trying, keep plugging, the goals will come. They've got the goaltending now, he said. They don't give up the easy goals anymore. They give up some of the opportunities, but Greg Millen, newly acquired goaltender for Quebec, making the key saves, much similar to what Glenn Healy and Mark Fitzpatrick have been doing for the Islanders. And that's a good sign as far as Peter Stastny is concerned.
Somebody must have forgotten to tell Norman McLean that Islander game started at 7:30 now. He just showed up at 8:30.
Well, you're all over those writers, aren't you? They're going to misspell your name one of these days, Jake.
They can't beat it up any worse. Merwa at the left point. Held it in. Another long shot skips through some skates, but Patrick covers it. And I laugh only because our crack floor director, John McCoy, says that Norman McLean is on daylight saving time.
This guy isn't. Michel Goulet, one of the outstanding left wingers in the league for the past 10 years. He took that off the skate, felt the sting of it all. Patrick covering up. Michel Goulet, I often associated he with as being the left side of the Mike Bossy, who was on the right side. He has almost went one-on-one with Bossy all the years that Bossy played.
Perennial all-star off the left side, all right. Sorella with a shot, stick save by Fitzpatrick. Brent Sutter is able to clear the zone, and that should do it as far as the penalty is concerned. That's getting a lot of opportunities here in the early stages of the second period. Teams at 6 aside. Goulet through center ice. Long shot, pad save by Fitzpatrick. Right back to Goulet. Puts it behind the net. Fitzpatrick kicks it into the corner, and Norton knocks it away from Goulet. This is Doug Crossman. Spun away from the forechecking of Perkis. Now plays one off the glass, out to center, down into the Quebec zone. This is going to be called back on a icing as Sorella touches up. We're 1 minute and 55 seconds into the second period and still no score.
Nobody wants to make a mistake to give up the opening goal. Joe Sorella doesn't. Hamilton, Ontario native, now 26 years old. Walt Podubnik is involved in the trade. Saw Joe Sorella head over to the Quebec Nordique along with Claude Loisel. 6 years with the New Jersey Devils. Made expendable by, I suppose, some of the Soviet players.
Devils in another deal yesterday, too.
Yeah.
Brought to Minnesota.
Scorer, yeah. They wanted a little more size. They picked up, I guess, a half a year in age. They wanted the size. They wanted a right-handed center iceman. One in Bob Bruck.
Islanders will be in Minnesota next Thursday night. 2 games on the road. Wednesday in Toronto. The puck skips over the boards into the Islander bench, almost into the face of Kenny Baumgartner. As you look at him, Jim Pickard checking to make sure he's okay.
Jimmy Pickard ducking, too.
Yeah.
Kenny Baumgartner, the fellas get a little kick out. He's still going to check. Are you sure you... Yeah, he said, hit me in the head right there on the side, right in the cheek. So I get punched a lot, but... Mark Aldridge, the doctor, as I call him, he's over checking too. He said, look, I didn't even leave a mark.
Now Lecision drops the puck. He moves it ahead to Loisel. Loisel, McKegney, and Yarvey out for Quebec. Loisel moving in on the right wing board. Backhanded one across the front of the net, up high in the air, and here's Lecision holding it in. Back in the goal to McKegney, went to center one. Knocked off his skates by Jeff Norton. Norton trying to get the puck to King. He gets knocked down. Tipped it into the corner. McKegney on it in a hurry. Placed in deeper for Loisel. Loisel unable to get it to the blue line, and now as it's golfed out by Norton, Lecision puts it right back in again. And Yarvey touched the puck, so that'll be an offside.
Curtis Lecision, number 7. He's another one of the up-and-coming young players of the Quebec Nordiques, 20 years old. He was a first-round pick of the Nordiques, 3rd overall in the league. 1988, played with the Shawinigan Cataracts. Missed 5 games earlier this season with a slight knee injury. Boy, I hate to see the young players get knee injuries.
Toughest part of this game, though. And I guess all sports, really, when you analyze them, knees.
Contact sport. Team sport.
Peter Stastny had the puck knocked away as he tried to move deeper in the Islander zone. Bradley ran into Finn. Stastny with it. Plays it back to Merwa. High around the boards. Fitzpatrick leaves it back of the net, and here's Gary Nyland setting up the play. Nyland chased. Giving it to David Barlick. Dumps it in from his own side of center ice. And Finn is first to get to it. That'll be an icing call against the Islanders.
NHL event worth noting at Toronto, the Toronto game. LA at Toronto. It's 1-0 now. Toronto leading. Gilles Thibodeau has scored his first NHL goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well. LA finishing up that 4-game road trip tonight with a win and 2 losses so far. Toronto has won at least 5 games without a loss on home ice going into that contest tonight.
Well, they don't know what to do in Toronto now with a team that's starting to win hockey games at home. How do you boo a winning team?
That's tough, all right, huh? The pal Donald Trump left Maple Leaf Gardens to become the commissioner of the Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
Very Earl Ballard after all those years. Andy Wood in forechecking in the Quebec zone. The puck comes back to Crossman. Fans reacting to something that Baumgartner had been involved with as the play moved out of the Islander end. Lauer holds the puck, went to center when it hit Lafleur. Now he puts it out in front, but Gillis nudged it ahead to Lawton. And Lafleur guides it on into the center ice area. That's Wood dropping it back to Baumgartner. Plays it away from Lafleur to LaFontaine. He's over the Quebec line. Good pass to Randy Wood. Hooked up by Lafleur. Play allowed to continue. The fans are calling for a penalty. Lafleur picks up the puck. Baumgartner is all set to go. Here we go. The bomb site set on Paul Gillis.
You remember they had an exchange on the bench, and Gillis was thrown out of the game.
He doesn't throw many punches, but he means business what he does. Kenny Baumgartner, he answered the call that Gillis presented him. Gillis is complaining that he was hit by a stick. It was a good left punch that nailed him. As Baumgartner, he was challenged twice by Gillis. He didn't want to fight, and he said, I can't do anything but fight now. You put me in that position, and that's exactly what he did.
I have mentioned a couple of times, Gillis was ejected from the game a week ago for spearing, and it was a player on the bench, and I think it was Baumgartner that was on the bench. No, it was Gary Nyland that got up quickly.
That's right.
When it happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether or not Baumgartner was involved in that. I remember now because Nyland jumped up as Gillis stabbed into the Islanders bench, and he was ejected from the game for it.
5-minute penalties here at the 4:46 mark of the second period. Flatley with a cross-ice pass. Volek plays it away from Peter Stastny, and that's Sutter after it. Plays it around Lecision, got it to Flatley, puts it in front. There's Volek, and he puts it just wide. Gee, was all over Volek at the time, and this is Flatley coming off the boards, but can't get through the traffic. Stastny with a pass to Sakic. Out of center ice, Flatley has picked up Kirkus, and there will be a penalty against the Islanders. Well, Wood was taken down by Lafleur, and play was allowed to continue, but in the center ice area, hit from behind, will cost the Islanders a penalty if Flatley goes out. It was looking more like a breakaway at the time. Fans are upset here. Flatley, a tripping penalty. So the Quebec Nordiques get a power play. They're 3 for 9 so far this season against the Islanders. Here's the play up the middle. Picking it off is Sakic. He tries to relay it as he makes the move to get it to Huff. Huff is tripped up by Flatley. That's the penalty. Face-off will be in the Islanders' end of the ice. 0 for 1 tonight. Quebec on the power play. Lafleur, Stastny, and Goulet together. Sakic playing the left point, Petit the right. McDonough on the draw, but Lafleur plays it between the feet of Petit. Michel Petit banks it off Don Maloney's stick, and at center ice, Goulet handles the puck now for Quebec. Up to Joe Sakic. Sakic had a slip off his stick. There's Lafleur dumping it in deeper. Backboard is McDonough. Crossman banks one off Goulet. Crossman tying up Goulet. Stastny pokes the puck loose. Over comes Maloney. Comes back on the board. Petit with it. Stastny. Back to Petit. Stastny took the pass in his skates. Goulet's positioned here. Now starts in. The pass across. And the drive by Sakic went wide of the net. Goulet comes out of the corner. Michel Goulet works it in deeper. Stastny drops it back. This is Petit right at the line. Got it back from Sakic. Shoots one. Fitzpatrick the save. No rebound. Before was standing there. Fitzpatrick making the save. Here's a look at Michel Petit. Traded over to Quebec at the beginning of the season. Tested the new management with the Rangers. Wanted a new deal, and they wouldn't give him one.
Well, they dealt him away. They're off balance. He gets a good shot. You see the strength as Mark Fitzpatrick hangs on. Think of Stastny and Goulet and Lafleur out on the power play. Pretty good shooters in that three.
Is there ever experience? You name it. They bring it to the dance.
Well, you figure a team that's not doing that well, and they still got the 11th best power play in the league. See the reason why.
Now they set it up again. Fogarty covering the right point. McKegney holding the puck, laid it in deeper. They score! A wraparound from the far side, and Quebec takes the lead. A goal by Tony Herkus.
Yes, Tony Herkus from a very sharp angle. The opening goal of the hockey game, a power play goal with Flatley in the penalty box. Looked as though he was going to pass it. He faked the goaltender to moving, and I think he did just that. Fitzpatrick moved his feet, and Tony Herkus wrapped it in. The motion of the Quebec power play, that's McKegney with the puck. Gives it back to Herkus, and there he just seemed to fake, drop his shoulder, and then just whipped it at the net. It went off the goalpost, I believe. His 7th goal of the season, his 3rd on the power play. 2nd goal in 7 games for the recently acquired Tony Herkus.
Played Tier 2 hockey with here, but it's travel way.
Really a travel way. All right, Jake.
Fine young star there, went on to college hockey, a Hobie Baker Trophy winner. Originally drafted by the St. Louis Blues out of the Aurelia Community Center. Giddick has pumped the puck in. The power play goal, McKegney and Fogarty assisting. Peck taking the lead. The Islanders trying to battle back here. Now the game can start. LaFontaine out of the corner. Tipped up. There will be a penalty here. Loisel is going to get digging. And he knew that it had to even itself up somewhere along the line. The Islanders will go to the power play, trailing 1-0. You're watching New York Islanders hockey on Sports Channel.
It's been that kind of a hockey game so far. A lot of restraining fouls. use of the stick, and here hooking up LaFontaine from behind, Claude Loisel, the referee, with his arm in the air. Stewart says, "You're off, Loisel." The Islanders go to the power play.
The power play, non-productive in recent games, and here's Peter Stastny picking up a loose puck, moving in on Crossman. He shoots just wide of Fitzpatrick on the glove side.
Yes, a free shot for Stastny. He went to the top right-hand corner.
No power play goals on 14 opportunities in the last 4 games. Now LaFontaine moves in, goes back to the net to get away from Finn. Beats the puck to the point. Norton moves it around the boards in the Quebec zone. Brent Sutter got it to Crossman, into Derek King. King out of the corner with a pass back to Crossman. Over it goes to Norton, now to Derek King. It was tipped and back to Crossman. So Norton jumped off his stick. Norton gets to it. Moved in deeper. Back of the net, gave it to LaFontaine, to Norton. Norton pushed into the corner. There's Brent Sutter as well. Norton still in deep. He covered his stick and the puck. Rights it around the corner board. Got it to Derek King.
King did all that with one hand, too.
Now he tries to come out of the corner, chase behind the net. A minute and 10 gone in the man advantage without a shot on goal here. Norton holds it at the right point, and it goes to King. Outside pass is tipped, and through Crossman is recovered by LaFontaine. Jeff Norton into King. Back to Norton. Over to Crossman, and Deblois broke up the pass. Crossman with it now. Back of the net to LaFontaine. Up to Derek King. King holds it, plays it away from Goulet. Norton tips it to Crossman. Cranks up a shot that's turned aside by Millen. Crossman golfing at it, got it to the corner, but Deblois is there, can't clear it out. This is Norton with 15 seconds left, and his shot went wide. The time remaining on the Islander power play, by the way. King puts it back to the net for LaFontaine. To the point, Nyland traps it. Barry Nyland plays it rink wide to Crossman. And Quebec is back at full strength here as Loisel is released from the penalty box. Islanders hold it in. Derek King with a drive. Pad save. The rebound is blocked. Another shot by Crossman, and Millen dives on top of it and holds on. The Islanders get their best chances after Loisel's penalty expired.
The hooking penalty to Claude Loisel is over. Derek King rips one from the right point position. Excuse me. Here's the rebound as Crossman gets a shot. Millen, look at him stand up and challenge the shooters. The puck is finally put on his stick by Steve Finn, and he's able to stop the play. That's Millen.
Now the Islanders moving it around the boards in the Quebec zone. Out in front, Maloney testing Millen. They bang at it. Dakota pushes Millen back into the goal mouth. Millen up screaming at referee Paul Stewart. Meantime, Stastny with a pass to Huff and a glove save by Fitzpatrick.
Something that goes back to the first period. You'll remember Millen and Dakota having some gestures and words and stares. That time with Dakota moving in on top of the goal crease. Rockets Millen back in after 2 good attempts here by Maloney. In comes Mick and gives him just a little bit of a shove. Wow, I'm surprised he got away with that. Usually if you make contact with the goaltender with your shoulder, your hip, your arm, something like that, but when you cross-check them, it generally calls for a penalty. But Paul Stewart has been letting most of the stuff go. Unless it's a good scoring opportunity, then it's been a penalty, which in a sense is right, but generally around the net. You can't make contact with the goaltender unless you're pushed into it.
And a look at the numbers, career-wise. Millen against the Islanders. Break-up pass. Lauer got it to Wood. He's over the line with a shot. Fontaine picks it off the left boards. Back to Norton. Into the corner. Here's LaFontaine with it. He shoots. Millen the save. Wood with the rebound, and Millen got in front of that. And Wood is taken down by Yarby. Delayed penalty call. It comes back to the point for Norton, and now the whistle sounds. Yarby will head for the penalty box. We're midway through the second period. And the Islanders get their second power play chance. Islanders, late flurry after the penalty to Loisel had expired earlier in this period, seemed to have picked up the tempo somewhat.
Pat LaFontaine could smell it. He grabbed the puck, came off the boards, let a shot go, and there Wood trying to backhand it. He gets some of the backhand away, but he's hooked from the side and behind by Yarby. So the Islanders go back to the power play. They missed out on their first opportunity. I don't think they had a shot on goal. They had one shot on goal, in their first power play. They're 3 for 15 against Quebec this season. Get the second opportunity tonight.
Finishing up the season series with Quebec, first team that they'll be finished with. Rangers are already finished with Montreal and Winnipeg, and they haven't played the Boston Bruins yet, but then the Bruins haven't played the Islanders, Calgary, or Chicago yet. They're all finished with Pittsburgh, Edmonton, and Toronto. They've been in a bit of a house league. So far, it seems the Islanders will finally get a game at the Bruins this month. King with the pass back to Crossman. Over to Norton, comes in deep, tried to center one that's deflected. King with it on the opposite side of the ice. Checked by Deblois, and he shot it between the Islander defensemen. Back goes Norton. Norton and Crossman on the point. Sutter, LaFontaine, and King, the Islander forwards. This is Norton with a pass to Crossman. Dumped one in. Chasing it is LaFontaine. Millen guided it away from him. King comes in after it. They get it back into the skates of Crossman. Sutter off the boards. Sutter chased to the corner by Finn. Sutter moves it around to LaFontaine. Trouble handling it. Now gets it onto the stick of Brent Sutter. Back to LaFontaine. Take a look at the point. Norton cutting to the right side. Takes the pass. One time hit. It's blocked by Goulet. Now he tips it in front, and Sutter guided it off the goalpost. Good deflection by the captain, but bunked up against the iron. Here's Norton with a shot from the point. Pad save. Sutter the rebound, and he was kept by Finn. This is LaFontaine. Back to Norton. Over to Crossman. On the edge of the circle. Crossman lets one go. That's tipped wide of the net. LaFontaine knocked down behind the goal. Actually was off balance as he went for it, and now play is called. Referee Paul Stewart detecting a penalty here.
No, he's quite emphatic about the fact that Pat LaFontaine, he's accusing him of hand passing it to Brent Sutter. The faceoff comes outside. It appeared as though it was going to be a penalty. I thought it was at first also, Jake, but he kept pointing at LaFontaine. LaFontaine was looking back saying, no, it wasn't a hand pass. He's saying, yes, it was. That's why I blew the whistle. Stopped the play, and the faceoff comes outside the Quebec end of the ice. Have to start all over again. The Islanders in good territorial pursuit of the puck, but they're still not getting shots on. Here LaFontaine gets knocked to the ice. There's the puck. It's near his right hand. There. He lifts his hand up as if to say, nah, but he did it with his left hand. The old, you look at the right hand and you move the left hand. Tricky.
Little sleight of hand trick, huh?
Actually, I'm probably just bailing Stewart out. You can't, I always said, you can't take back a whistle.
True enough. 25 seconds remaining, as you see, in the penalty to Yarby. 1-0. Quebec leading on a power play goal here in the second period. Crossman with a pass to Volek. A backhander. He scores!
Something the Islanders needed. Something David Volek needed. The Islanders needed it to tie the game. David Volek needs it to make himself feel much better. 2 points in his last 11 games is all he's been able to put on the board. But a big goal for he and his team in this hockey game. His 9th goal, 3rd on the power play for David Volek. What a play here by Crossman to get the puck to him. Then he just makes a little bit of a dip shot just off the back of the stick, the backhand side. What a play by Crossman to get the puck to him. Then he shovels the puck between the legs of Millen. Millen, you could see his feet. He was shuffling his feet. He wasn't sure if he was in the right position. David Volek proved it by putting it between his feet.
And the game is tied at 1. The 9th goal of the season, as you see, for David Volek. I'm Jakes McDonald. Here at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Quebec with a power play goal from Herkus at the 6:23 mark. Held a 1-0 lead until Volek scored at 11:46 with Yarby sitting on a holding penalty. It's a scoreless first period tonight. The game hasn't had a whole lot of tempo until about the 7 or 8 minute mark of the second period. And the Islanders back in the Quebec zone. That's Don Maloney with the puck, trying to get around Sorella. Here's Stastny comes in, digs it off the boards, leads it outside the line, and Huff moving through center was checked by Gerald Diddick. Diddick playing it up the boards to Patrick Flatley. Flatley, long pass off Maloney's skates, and covered by Gary Nyland. Quebec has beaten the Islanders twice this season. Quebec with the worst record in the league.
Just coming off back-to-back losses to the Toronto Maple Leafs and Detroit Red Wings.
And a 3-game trip, and there's good scoring for the Islanders. Good pass into the slot, and it's 2-1.
What a blast by Randy Wood. He wristed the shot. His third goal in the last 5 games. He's got 2 assists to go along with it. And the Islanders quickly, back-to-back goals, out hustling now and out working. Gilby McDonough from behind the net. He spots Wood coming in on the top of the slot. What a perfect spot to get the puck. Beautiful pass by McDonough. It's flat, it's the right tempo, and Randy Wood using his strength. 1 minute after the goal by Bollock has given the Islanders a 2-1 lead.
See the numbers, 10 on the season, 2 of them now against Quebec. The kid out of Yale University hits the Islanders on top for the first time. Millen having some equipment adjusted by linesman Dan McCourt. The Quebec goaltender back into position.
What a nice shot by Randy Wood. I wonder if he picked that spot. I don't think he did. I think he just wanted to get it on the net. There was a lot of players in front. Millen screened, and he just wanted to hit the net, put it on the net somehow, and he did, just under the crossbar in the top left-hand corner.
So Bollock with a power play goal at 11:46. Wood at the 12:46 mark.
Or Rossiger gets hit.
Linesman limping around a little bit. Jeff Norton got an assist on David Bollock's goal, giving him 30 assists, tying his career high. And a career high established of 32 points for Jeff Norton. And with the veteran defenseman Gord Rossiger.
Boy, that hurts too. When you turn sideways, you get hit in the back of the leg or you side of the leg, and you get hit on the front of the leg, it hurts. I don't care whether your shin pads on or not.
We'll call him a referee. The linesman. Here's Lauer stealing the puck, and his shot deflected by Deblois. Out of the corner comes Randy Wood. Leads the blue line. This is Baumgartner. His shot blocked. Lauer with it. A backhander blocked at the defense by Finn. And Quebec comes up 3-on-2. Herwald with a pass to Goulet on left wing. In deep, threaded one across. The man open. Then he was cut off as Deblois went to get a stick on it. Out comes Randy Wood now. He's over the Quebec line. Wood's pass to Brent Sutter. Sutter holding it. Set it in front to Randy Wood. Back to Sutter. Lets one go, and it was kicked wide of the net. This is Michel Goulet for Quebec. Up to Herkus. To center, on into the Islanders zone. Cuts to the right side. Herkus. Shot blocked, and now Goulet tries one from a sharp angle. Over 6 minutes to play in the second period. Brad Lauer brings the Islanders into center ice. Got it in around the decision. It goes off Millen's stick. Derek King over on the far boards. Puts it back in the Quebec goal again. In comes Gronstrand. Gronstrand plays it to the far corner. LaFontaine tips it back to Norton. Norton with a shot pad saved by Millen. The rebound is there, and King played it off the goalpost. King gets it back to Gronstrand. Lets it fly, and it was deflected wide of the net. This is Kerr. Alan Kerr trying to get it away from the decision. Got it to King, and a shot blocked by Millen. LaFontaine at the side of the net now. Comes out in front of the backhand. Turns. Takes a look, then shot it right at precision, and it rebounds out into the center ice zone.
That's a good play by the young defenseman. His timing was perfect.
There was. Larry King gets checked by Gillis, who's over the line. LaFleur moving in, and the pass is blocked by Gronstrand. LaFleur out of the corner, checked by Gronstrand. Up with it now is Kerr. He's cleared the zone for the Islanders. LaFontaine plays it around Fogarty. Back in his own zone for Quebec. Petit to Fogarty, now to Lozelle, and it bounces off his skates into the Islander territory. Norton being chased by Claude Lozelle as he went back. Giving it to Yari Gronstrand. Banks one off Fogarty, and there's LaFontaine up to Kerr. He's over the line. Kerr off right wing. Centers, tipped by LaFontaine, and a glove save made by Greg Millen. It's the Islanders 2, the Nordiques 1. You're watching New York Islanders hockey on Sports Channel.
What a flurry by the Islanders as they pick the tempo up. Jeff Norton's had several shots in this period. There's one with a rebound. Pat LaFontaine gets it across. Derek King takes a shot. It was deflected by one of the defensemen. He got his stick out just as King shot it for the open side of the net. Millen got a leg out. Whether he'd have been able to stop it, all speculation.
Now the Islander forward line is McDonough, Maloney, and Bakota. Bella banks one off the boards, but Maloney for the Islanders. Takes it back into the corner. Now a shot as it came out of the corner. Good pass and a good stop by Greg Millen. Maloney trying to get to the rebound, but up comes Quebec. Loisel dumps it in. Patrick drives it onto the stick of Gary Nyland. It's rubbed up by Yarby. Dakota back to help out. He's given the puck to Ubi McDonough. On it to the Quebec line. Cirella knocks it down and then cleared the zone off the boards to Loisel to Yarby. Kegney coming up the right side, takes the pass. Nyland over to knock it away from him. Then it takes his man into the corner, but Yarby with the puck then lost it. Islanders failed to clear it out. Cirella's backhander hit Yarby and bounced right to McDonough. McDonough over the line, working on Fogarty. McDonough, backhander turned aside by Millen. Up comes Joe Cirella with a pass to Yarby. Yarby lost it at the Islander blue line. Nyland sending Maloney over the line. Dropped it back to Nyland. He got bumped by McKechnie, and down the left side comes Sakic. 3-on-1. Sakic dropped it. McKechnie with a shot. Pad save by Fitzpatrick. Big rebound. To be handled by Nick Bakota. Little indecision on the part of the Islanders as to who should go for the puck.
Boy, that's where talking helps a lot. Players should be yelling at each other and to each other throughout the hockey game, and that time nobody was yelling. Nobody took the puck.
Sakic for Quebec has given it to Marois. Played it away from David Bollock, and it went right to Pat LaFontaine. To Flatley on right wing. He shoots. Millen the save, and there's no further play. Then Finn all over Flatley. Back to that Quebec goal. In comes everybody. Rossman and Baumgartner in now. Bring the face-off outside the Quebec zone, and we'll see if referee Paul Stewart has anything to...
Boy, it's Flatley. He generally doesn't get that mad, but Finn hammered him with the hockey stick. That got the Irishman's ire up. He wants a chunk of his hide now. Linesman, George Brossiker, is in his way, talking to him. Come on, Flat, that's enough. You're not going to get to him. Well, look at the face down here as Finn. I don't know whether that was a stick, a punch, or whether it was the net, but got him cut on the nose. Pat LaFontaine leads the rush across Quebec's blue line, feeds it to Flatley. His shot stopped, and there Finn hammers it Flatley, and Flatley says, knock it off, hammers it back. Finn hit it with a left. And everything breaks loose somewhere along the way. Finn got something in the face to cut his nose. Finn is now heading for the Quebec dressing room. 2 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the second period. Flatley's gone, and now Finn is gone.
Each picking up 4 minutes, 2 for roughing, but Finn gets a cross-checking penalty, Flatley a slashing penalty. The Islanders went the first 7 minutes without a shot on goal in this period, and they've had 18 since that point.
No question the tempo picked up. The Islanders on the power play were getting some shots away. Norton has had several. Pat LaFontaine has had his share.
The Islanders with 5 consecutive wins on home ice, trying to make it 6 tonight. Last loss here was on the 12th of December against the New Jersey Devils.
Yes, the Islanders are now 8-11-3 in their home rate.
Norton playing the puck around the boards. Eric King pulled it back and dumped it out to center ice for Kerr. Off the boards, LaFontaine will pick it up in the Quebec zone. Put it in front, just out of the reach of Kerr. King coming in late. Dumps the tee as he dumps it into the corner. Out it comes to Kerr. Good pass by LaFontaine, but Kerr had to take it in his skates. Tee hammered into the boards. What a check goal by King. In the meantime, Kerr with the pass to LaFontaine, and it was hit by Lecision. This is Derek King centering one. Kerr at the side of the net is checked. Now Derek King trying to get around Stosny. Puck comes back to Norton at the left point. Norton puts it back to the net. There's LaFontaine. Pulls it away from Curtis Lecision. Feeds the point for Norton. Long shot. Knocked down in front. Cleared right back to Yari Gronstrand. Through a screen. His shot is deflected wide. That's Sakic for Quebec. Kerr got a chunk of in. Sakic picks it up again. There's a delayed penalty call against Kerr. He had the stick up on Sakic. Quebec will get a man advantage as they're content to put the puck in the Islander zone and get a face-off there. 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining in the second period.
It's a slashing penalty signaled by Paul Stewart on Alan Kerr, a little aggressive in his forechecking. Kerr, wham, ooh, got the stick up pretty high. As Joe Sakic tried to avoid Kerr, he did, but he took the stick across his chest. And with 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining here in the second period, much more exciting second period, Alan Kerr goes to the penalty box. Nordiques on the road are 17th, and they're ranked 11th overall. They have some power play at home.
Operating at a 19.9% efficiency coming into tonight's game, and their only goal came with the mat advantage. Got from the point by Merwas. Good save. Heard that one. And now another penalty call.
Play.
Yep. Nyland knocked down by Tony McKegney.
Yes. Boy, what a bad play by McKegney. He was all over Gary Nyland. Had him covered like a coat of paint. That does not sit well with Bergeron. He does not like dumb moves by hockey players, and McKegney in the offensive zone on the power play. Fogarty's shot stopped. Cleared by Nyland, and as Nyland heads for the puck, look at the left hand, reaching out and pulling Nyland down. Tony McKegney, he's mad. The reason he's mad is he got caught. He knows it was a penalty. It's going to be even more so when you're on a power play and pull a play like that. McKegney, with all the experience that he has, think what he knows better than to get his left arm off the stick, left hand off the stick, and grab Gary Nyland.
So the teams are at 5 aside, including the goalkeepers, in the final minute and 25 seconds ticking down here of period 2. Oh, look at that play by Sutter, only to be beaten by Millen. Sakic sends Goulet over center, on into the Islander zone, dropped it for Sakic, a shot blocked by Fitzpatrick. Fogarty gets to the rebound, plays it across to Sakic, centers one off the skate, Fitzpatrick makes the save off Goulet. Goulet is saying the puck is in the net, Quebec is celebrating, but referee Paul Stewart is saying no, no, no.
He looked immediately, I'll give Stewart a lot of credit for that. Paul Stewart looked at his linesman. Gord Brossiker, I believe it was, on the far side was waving no goal. The light didn't go on. Those players, those actors, those hams, those Quebec Nordiques, they tried to pull a fast one on the goal judge, the referee, and Mark Fitzpatrick, but it didn't work. No goal. Close call. Puck must have been near the goal line. There's the play across, off a skate, off the foot. You could. Goulet says yes. Stewart, you could see his hands go in a safe motion. No, he's signaling no. He looked at the linesman. That one, it was off the foot, whether it was deliberately steered. And if that happens, if it goes off the skate and into the net by accident, then of course the goal counts. If it was directed deliberately by a player, then it doesn't count. I don't believe the puck got across the goal line anyway. If it had, who's in a better position to see it than the goal judge? And he did not put the light on.
What a discussion. You look at Michel Bergeron, the referee, and the two linesmen are huddled just inside the blue line. Gord Brossiker, Paul Stewart, and Dan McCourt. That's McCourt facing you.
With the face-off coming outside, now Brossiker is talking with Bergeron. Well, it'd be interesting. I'd love to hear that discussion. I wonder what the problem is. Obviously, it's in the worst interest of Bergeron and his Quebec Nordiques. Now, the face-off is outside, Jake. Now, that has to tell us something, that it was kicked. They feel that the puck was deliberately kicked at the goal. The light hasn't gone on. Even so, if it was a stop, why would the face-off come outside? Unless it was something happened around the play that we didn't get.
No, I got a feeling that it was because it maybe did get over the goal line. Disallowed goals. Well, we'll have to ask after the game, see what that's all about. 35 seconds left in the period as Volek dumps one in right to Millen. Volek Tied it up for the Islanders. Randy Wood has given them the lead here in the second period. Diddick held the puck at the blue line, fed LaFontaine. Tried to shovel it back to Diddick, didn't have enough on it, and Loisel overled Stosny, picks it up now on the right wing board. Centering attempt, found its way to Petit for a shot to the off Nyland. Pollock back to break up that Quebec play, and back to the net is Gary Nyland. Off the boards to LaFontaine. Not enough time to get a point for LaFontaine in this period, so he'll go to the third, trying to keep his streak alive here. Jostling a lot you can do. You can know the experience. Now Derek King drops the puck back following the draw. Nyland moves it over to the far side, but not out. There's Loisel with a shot, but got Nyland and comes to the left side for King. Rounds the net. Down an avenue, down the right side, over center, and on into the Quebec zone. He cuts to the left, couldn't get it to LaFontaine, and after the finish decision, Nyland puts it back in the net. Quick power play, LaFontaine is denied by Villeneuve, held the post to the left. What a collision, Diddick. Took Loisel into the boards heavily, then Latrigan gets the pick up on Diddick. Diddick is ready to go, he comes back to Petit and grabs. Well, Diddick finally found somebody with a bill. It's Mike Hunt. 34 seconds into the third period. Helmet off and Diddick cutting into the right fist. So he got 4 or 5 in. They got him into the ribs anyway. If nothing else. It's a testy situation. At one time, Diddick must have felt like Custer. He was surrounded there for a minute. There was all kinds of guys throwing barbs and nasty things at him. Sticks and stones. Break his bones. Words will never hurt him. Here, Loisel. He took Loisel in. There's Lecision as he gives him a bounce and a shove, and he did. Gerald says, well, all right, come on, finish it. Look at here. Do you think he doesn't feel surrounded? Bang, bang. Now Loisel decides he's going to give Diddick a punch from behind when Diddick got dizzy. Gerald rips the helmet off of Huff, and then he's going to beat a tattoo around his ears. Wow, that's hard on the knuckles, Gerald. Don't do that. Skin up the knuckles. Can't hang on the stick. Hands swell. Interesting reaction, too, wasn't it? The folks in the first and second row right behind the glass over there. Yeah, all of the facial expressions that go with the close encounter. Keep thinking back to the past. Yeah, let's take a look. Something interesting on Pat LaFontaine. Boy, it goes way back, too. Not since Rocket Richard. 25% of the goals for his Canadians in 49-50, and you look at Bill Cook, 31-32, 25.4% of the production of the Rangers that year. See the goals that he had, and then the total goals for the team. Eric Korting spent probably a week and a half coming up with these numbers, and look what LaFontaine is doing. 35 of the Islanders' 140 goals coming in tonight. 25% of the whole team's production. And you see the Lemieux numbers? You think of practicing actuarian is really into numbers? Or is he ever into numbers? Oh, man. Probably has somebody else do his income tax, all the money made. Interesting, though, wasn't it? When Gretzky had 92 goals, it was only 22.1% of the output. When you're thinking of Messier and Curry and all the other guys that were banging in goals along with him, and it's tough to get that percentage up. Brett Hull with 24.3% of St. Louis production this year, so he and LaFontaine are pretty even. And Cutter with a shot off the crossbar as he cranks one up over on right wing. Up to the center right area. Sakic made it to Goulet, but it's offside as he had a little trouble handling it at the Islander blue line. 2-1, the Islanders leading. Goulet is the man who celebrated more than any of the other Nordiques after the puck had been kicked into the net. Yeah, 29-year-old Michel Goulet. Look at this. You get a freebie, and he puts it up top, off the goal, or the crossbar, excuse me. Look at Millen. Look around. He knows it's somewhere, but it's not in the net. He had a peek there. The puck went off the crossbar, up high over his head, and landed out in front. Michel Goulet. First pick in 79 for that Northeast. We talked a while back, in fact, wrote in the Islander News recently how that was one of the great draft years, 79, 20-year-old. Eno came out of that draft. Wayne Sutter with the Islanders, so many players played so well for so long. Respective teams and others. Sorella with a pass that went off Fogarty's stick. Fogarty got checked. Brent Sutter over the line, taking Lauer's pass, gave it right back to him off the wing. Turned aside by Millen. Goulet picks it up on the left side. Goulet sacked it. Made it outside the line. Goulet got in ahead of him. Now he goes to the opposite side. Goulet, to his credit, back on his side. Morton playing it up the boards, away from Randy Wood, away from Petit, who hustles back now. Now Petit looks toward LaFleur. Here's the puck to Sakic instead. Long pass to the left side. This is Brian Lawton, who hasn't seen a whole lot of ice time, and his big shot is covered and held by Fitzpatrick.
Yes, he was on the ice in the first period, Jiggs, but not at all in the second period. I could last forever playing like that. Been 20 years, 25 years, who knows? That kind of ice time. Not saying he's going to do it all with one team, though. Where the production has been there. 3 goals and 4 assists in 9 games with the Nordiques, so they must be happy with that kind of production, because that's production that he hasn't had with other teams, particularly the team that originally drafted him, the Minnesota North Stars. He didn't get a lot of ice time. I don't think he played much with Hartford. Given another opportunity in another place at another time.
Over on the left side, Stastny is at center and LaFleur on the right. Stastny won the draw. Decision at the blue line gets checked by Vakota. Vakota dumped it into the Quebec zone. It's LaFleur chasing it. In comes Maloney. LaFleur has given it to Petit. Stastny couldn't hold the pass, and Baumgartner fires it off the boards right back to Millen. That'll be called back on an offside. The Islanders with a man or two inside the Quebec blue line.
Interesting to note, too, the Islanders in their last 4 losses, 3 times they've lost to the Devils, 1 to these same Quebec Nordiques. And they're both teams that missed the playoffs last year.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know. It's hard to put your finger on things at times. People ask you questions, and they wonder why you may be a little vague at times. You say, well, listen, you pointed out, you made a great point that night in Buffalo. The Islanders beat the Buffalo Sabres the night before. They lose with the Quebec Nordiques, the team with the least points in the league, and then they defeat the team with the most. How do you think?
Assistant coach Darcy Regier was telling me after that game in Buffalo the other night that he could just sense it, that the guys were all over one another. Little jabs, little barbs, and reaction, of course, was good, and then tightened up defensively, took the center ice area away from Buffalo, and won 4-2. Now here's LaFleur. Back by Vakota. Pass across to Lawton. To LaFleur was looked at that save, and now Lawton with the rebound. Banks one off Crosby. What a stop by Fitzpatrick.
Boy, he is cool tonight. Dakota without a stick. Heading up the ice, he broke it across either the stick or the legs of Guy LaFleur.
Ryan Lawton with a pass to LaFleur. The turn here on the right side. Crossman picked him up. Pass into the corner for Lawton. He was bumped by Volley. This is Flatley off the right wing boards. The pass got to Crossman. Now to Volley. Can't get over the Quebec blue line. Ariel Merwa tripped to the puck by Flatley. LaFontaine to the front of the net. And Flatley is doubled by Finn. Back to the goal now. LaFontaine. The Volley to the shot blocked by Millen. This is Merwa. Veteran Quebec defenseman, able to get it up to Gillis, and he drives one in off the glass. Scoops it up as it came back in front of the net and holds on for a face-off. The Islanders maintaining a 2-1 lead, and you're watching New York Islanders hockey on Sports Channel.
The Adirondack Wings are 4-3 ahead of the Springfield Indians. Update on the Islanders American Hockey League farm team. Mike Helfer, Mike Walsh, Sean LeBrun as the Springfield goals.
Now, Mike Helfer is really having himself some year coming out of BU to join the Islanders and their farm club under Jimmy Roberts, Springfield. Stan Fischler with a report that there's going to be some jockeying of American League franchises. They'll stay in the same cities, but different sponsorships. The Islanders reportedly will pick up New Haven. Sutter dumps one in from center ice. Millen out to cut it off. Dakota comes in. Millen put it in the corner. Here's Loisel. The Islanders 2. Nordiques 1. Loisel takes a dive. Dakota got him with the stick.
McDonough looks back at the referee. Stewart saying, that was just another attempt off the end of the board. Not going for that.
Good play by Maloney, taking it away from McKegney. Steps over the line here on the left side. Don Maloney centers one off Millen's stick. Loisel comes out of the left wing corner now. Tripped up ball by himself this time. And practicing that. Fogarty down on the deck. McDonough comes off the right wing boards. He's given it to Maloney. Back to the point for Crossman. He shoots to a screen and high and wide. Tony McKegney drops it to Joe Sorella. Up to the left side at center ice with a pass for Paul Gillis. Drops it back. That's Sorella with it. Puts it in front for Goulet, and it's knocked away by Crossman. Crossman races after the puck. Picks it up again at center. He's over the Quebec line. Crossman shifts to the backhand and dumps it in deep. His teammates were in the middle of the change, so he had absolutely no help coming with him. Sakic for Quebec. The decision. Off the boards. Crossman broke up the pass at center ice. Got it to Alan Kerr. Now to Baumgartner. It went off the heel of his stick. Baumgartner backcourt, played it away from Sakic to Crossman, around to Kerr. Gets it away from Goulet. Center ice, precision is checked by Kerr. Up comes LaFontaine, 2-on-1 with King. At LaFontaine, closing in, shoots, he scores!
Michel Petit is wondering what's going on. What am I doing laying in the goal crease, and the puck is in behind both he and Greg Millen. 36th goal of the season. 9th straight game that Pat LaFontaine has scored. Millen held the goalpost. Kerr does a good job here. He ties up Lecision, and that allows speedy Pat LaFontaine to grab the puck. He's got King on this side, using him as a fake. Down goes Petit. Look at LaFontaine. How well does he handle the puck? He handles it that well. He's a magician.
There's another one for your highlight film, folks.
Wow, look at this. He faked Petit to the ice, and then with one quick move, using Derek King as a decoy, he puts it in.
Well, we'll watch that on TSN Monday night. Sports Network out of Toronto. No doubt see it on the Power Stick Hockey Week. You'll see that goal several times. 3-1 now. The Islanders lead. The puck in the goal now covered by Fitzpatrick. It came off the boards right out in front and held there. Kerr gets the only assist on the goal by LaFontaine. So Al Arbor sending out the penalty killers, Sutter and Maloney, with Diddick and Nyland on defense. Quebec power play has McKegney here on the right side. Stastny in the middle. Over on the left side, Lawton. That was Petit who shot one wide at Fitzpatrick. And Brent Sutter leaves it up for Don Maloney. He's across the line. Sutter to the front of the net. Maloney holds it, gets into position, and scores!
Fifth short-handed goal of the season for the Islanders. This is a blue-collar hockey game, folks. This is a game for the guys that do it in the trenches, and nobody does it better than Don Maloney. The Crossman, the Woods, the Kerrs, the Sutters, Baumgartners, Flatley's, and here Don Maloney. What a nice move. He faked, made the defenseman drop to his knees, held the puck, and then let it go. There's the fake, holding the puck. There's the shot. It gets between the pads of Greg Millen. The Islanders have a 4-1 lead.
Seventh, make it the 8th time the Quebec power play has been broken up this season. The Islanders have extended the lead to 4-1. Lafleur floats one toward the net. Fitzpatrick grabbed it, threw it off to the corner. That's McDonough getting it back to the line. Fogarty to Herkus. Tony Herkus, top of the circle, shoots one. Fitzpatrick the save. You saw where Huck was, and absolutely no rebound, and the Islanders challenged by Huck. He was right in on top of Fitzpatrick. Brent Sutter getting the only assist on Maloney's 8th goal to make it 4-1. And just over 5 minutes to play in the third period.
For a guy that's tabbed, Jenks is a defensive-styled hockey player. 6 of his 8 goals have come in the last 9 games. He is also setting things into the heat. And he's got the right stick ready for tonight.
And today was football. We were gathered around the TV in the Players' Lounge, watching things develop between the Vikings and the 49ers. And Johnny grumbling a little bit. His father-in-law has 14 season tickets for the Giants and didn't make any gesture, no offer to go watch the Giants and the Rams tomorrow. Here's Herkus with a shot, blocked by Flatley.
Trying to say there's a signal here?
Well, Fogarty dumps the puck in a little deeper. Now Huff comes in off the right point. Drops it back. Got it again from Fogarty. Gets bumped by Nyland. Up holding the puck as Nyland chased him all the way back to the blue line. Perkins sets it up. Here's Brian Fogarty as Flatley went down trying to block it. Fogarty held it. Centered one that was tipped wide of the net. 22 seconds left in this Quebec power play. LaFleur to Marois. Now to Fogarty. Back to Marois. Shoots one that was blocked. Patrick Flatley making the block. Picked it up and shot it down the ice. Millen had a little trouble as he came out to handle the puck. 3 shots on goal for Quebec with the man advantage that's about to expire. We have just under 4 minutes remaining in the third period here at the Nassau Coliseum. Quebec dumping it in. The team's at 6 aside again, and it's Norton playing it around the end boards. Picked up by McDonough.
Some of the scores coming in now, Jiggs. Final scores. Washington Capitals defeated by the Bruins.
Sakic sets up Goulet and he scores. Michel Goulet makes no mistake on this one. It is 4-2.
Fine play to get it to Goulet, and he knows what to do with it. Good hands. Goulet with some open net to the right of goaltender Mark Fitzpatrick. Drifts it up high. His 10th.
Devils playing the Soviet team, Dynamo, I believe it is, tonight. And here, Quebec has pulled the goalkeeper with 1 minute and 43 seconds left. They flood the Islanders' zone. Fogarty, the lone man back tight on the right wing boards here. Marois fencing with Norton. Tossed a stick around, and referee Paul Stewart over to say something to both Marois and Norton. Face-off then. Stastny and LaFontaine. Stastny got the draw to Fogarty. A shot blocked in front. They bang away at it. Fitzpatrick down. The scramble on, and Gronstrand put a hand on it. He's outside the goal mouth, and now finally the puck frozen by Fitzpatrick. Geblois and Norton, you saw a little scuffle back to the net. Nothing developed.
Close call. The Quebec Nordiques pile it on. See some of the frustration as Lucien Geblois tries to get the backhand shot. There's the puck loose. Watch Gronstadt. Reaches out, puts his hand on the puck, and tries to shoot it away. Gets some help from Goulet, but the big fella is down there. The quiet man has got his feet now locked on it. Gets help from goaltender Mark Fitzpatrick. Look at his hand reaching well out beyond his feet. His legs flat on the ice. That's the flexibility of Mark Fitzpatrick, or the extra long arms. I'm not sure which.
Nyland and Maloney have come out for the Islanders. You saw Grandstrand getting a rest. Brent Sutter will take the face-off. Stastny lost it, and it's Diddick clearing the zone for the Islanders. Here's Don Maloney with an empty net. Bullseye.
How about that? The blue-collar boys are doing it tonight. Maloney with his second of the hockey game. A short-handed goal, and now an empty net goal with 1 minute and 26 seconds remaining in the hockey game. It appears that the Islanders have a lock on a couple of points. That would give them 38, depending on how Pittsburgh does, who are tied at 3 right now. The Islanders are moving closer. 9th goal of the season. Right from the face-off, Gerald Diddick, a good move. He doesn't want to ice the puck. He wants to get it into the center ice area. Maloney took off, grabs the puck, and then just fires it into the open net. Do you think stepping on the puck and falling down is embarrassing in a hockey game? How about missing an open net? It's easy to do.
Now the crowd begins to head for the exits, feeling that this one is safe at 5-2. Quebec has just iced the puck. Getting back to put a stick on it. Still 1 minute and 4 seconds left, but Don Maloney with a shorthanded goal and then an empty netter. Yeah, Islanders lead 5-2.
Don Maloney, that's the 9th time. He got his 9th goal, and 9 times this season he's got 2 points or more in a hockey game. Gets them in bunches.
The Islanders on the way to a 6th straight home ice win for the first time since October 21st to November 8th of 1986.
Now 8-3 in their last 11 games. They've won 7 of their last 8. On quite a roll here. And won the same number of games at home as they have on the road, 8. That'll change tonight.
Mark Fitzpatrick making his 3rd straight start. In fact, this win tonight, he'll be the first Islander goaltender to have won 5 straight games for this team as Kelly Rudy did it in November of 1987. A lot of positives. LaFontaine with a goal again tonight, giving him 36 on the season. He's the league-leading goal scorer at this moment. He has the puck again, comes over the line with a pass to King. The shot blocked. The rebound was over LaFontaine's stick. Final 34 seconds tick off here as Sorella feeds it out into center ice, away from the floor. And the beat will go on for this Quebec team. Will be 0-8-1 their last 9 road games. They haven't won a game on the road since the 22nd of November when they beat the Whalers in Hartford 4-2. Fleur gets the pass right back from Gillis and can't shoot it. And count down the final 8, make it 7 as Maloney shot one wide. The Islanders will have beaten Greg Millen and the Quebec Nordiques. First win over Quebec this season. They come back to congratulate Mark Fitzpatrick. 5 straight wins for Fitzpatrick and the Islanders on home ice and stretch their mark to 6. Bergeron very upset at the end of the second period, figuring that the score should be tied 2-2, but then the Islanders come back and outscore Quebec 3-1 in the third period. And that will be victory number 17 on the season for the Islanders. Same number as the Pittsburgh Penguins, 1 more than the Rangers, and only 1 fewer than the Caps and the Flyers at the start of tonight's play. So things are looking much brighter for the New York Islanders here in the Patrick Division and around the league.
Yes, sir.